Okay, so stop me if you've ever heard this before. This is a cover 3. Look at the single high safety and the off coverage on the corners. This is a cover 2. Look at the 2 high safeties and the depth of the corners that are different from cover 3. This is certifiably the most unhelpful tip out there in the community. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm coming on a little bit strong here because I've actually done videos like this before. And if you haven't seen them, why not? Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel and hit that notification bell. But the truth is, when you play better players, they're going to be disguising their defenses or just basing out of a defense altogether that is going to make it very tough for you to make those reads. For instance, if I were to come out in the dollar defense, it's going to be pretty tough to discern the difference, especially if they are pressed between a cover 4 or even a cover 2 just based off of looking at the safeties. This isn't trying to intentionally be slander to even myself for past videos like this or other content creators that swear that this is the only way or the way to read defense. The truth is, again, good players know how to disguise their coverages. So today's YouTube video is going to show you guys how to make post-snap reads by watching safety rotations. This is going to be a little bit more in depth, but please make sure you guys are following along with me because once you guys learn how to use these tools, this is going to help you discern what coverage your opponent is in. Even if you play with previous play in this game, your opponent might be making coverage adjustments that don't necessarily reflect what the previous play art is telling you. So let's go ahead and talk about the cover 2 defense. So when we talk about the way a safety drops, again, most players are going to come out, they're going to base a line, they're going to press to make everybody stand in the same spot no matter what. This is where you have to pay real attention to the safety drops in a cover 2 versus a cover 3 and a cover 4. So the simple way that I'm going to explain this is I'm just going to use 2 fists because that's what coaches will do all the time. If you get a 2 high defense that fans, usually a cover 2 or some sort of modified cover 3. If you have a safety that does this and then basically rotates where one goes to the center and the other one goes underneath, this is a cover 3. If you have 2 safeties up top and they backpedal or stand flat-footed, that's going to be a cover 4. And if you play this in Madden, you're going to actually notice right away that this actually plays pretty true. So if we take a look here in this cover 2, if you just watch the way the safeties play, they're going to drop back and out. You're going to see, watch those back pedals, see how they backpedal kind of, you know, for a little bit of depth and they fan, right? That's going to tell you that they're in deep halves. If you were to go ahead and utilize a cover 4 base defense, you are going to notice a similar approach, but maybe a slightly different drop. So if I were to go ahead and snap this ball, again, you watch these safeties, see how they backpedal and kind of squeeze inside in the seams. Now you might say, okay, well, those 2 looks were kind of similar in the way that they backpedal. How do I really get the tell between a cover 2 and a cover 4? This is honestly where I would kind of go off the beaten path and tell you that you're going to notice better changes in the way that your opponent's defensive players drop out of spread sets. One of the things about compression is that it's so great for attacking the sidelines, but it doesn't really give away the coverage shell that easily because everybody's kind of in the same spot off the line. In a bunch set, you have 3 receivers all bunched together, hence the name. In a tight set, everybody's tight, hence the name. But when you're in a spread out formation, you'll be able to notice the width changes on the safeties in a cover 2 quite easily. So if we show you this cover 2, I snap this ball, look at the safeties backpedaling, keeping width and kind of fanning out. You'll be able to tell right away, okay, they're definitely backpedaling and at least kind of fanning a little bit. That is a cover 2 base defense. Where if I were to go into that same spread set against a cover 4 base defense here, you will actually notice that when we snap the ball, the safeties still squeeze inside. So you're definitely going to be able to tell, okay, well, that's definitely not a cover 2 safety. That is a cover 4 safety. So that's the easy way to tell the difference between 2 high safeties that are dropping back. Now, of course, when it comes to a cover 3 base defense, you're going to notice some even different changes that are going to be far more obvious. This type of YouTube content is something that you enjoy. First off, make sure you're liking the video, but I also want to introduce you to gridirongameplans.gg. If you guys have never come across a video like this before, my name is Zan and I've been in the Madden content space for over 15 years, providing the best tips, tricks, and off-meta schemes that you guys can use to beat what you see every day online. Head over to gridirongameplans.gg where I have full game plan breakdowns of stuff that's popular and stuff that maybe you haven't seen before, in addition to a weekly updated vault that keeps you on top of what the best players in the world are doing and how to counter it. We also have a great Discord community with over 2,000 members that you can converse with, talk about MUT rosters, abilities, questions about the game plans or the vault tips, and we also do live lab sessions questions in there every single Wednesday, taking your questions to help give you immediate feedback and keep you on top of the pro meta. And you guys should definitely go check out the content we got over there, because I promise you'll get better at the game. And the best part, it's only $9.95, ensured to make you better at the game. So let's talk about cover three. Like I said, with the two fists earlier, we got one that closes center field and the other that rotates down. Very simple tell. You go ahead and snap the ball against this. You're going to look at the safeties. You see one rotate to center field. Easiest thing in the world to tell. From there, you understand how shells work. Now, here's the catch. There is one big difference that occurs in Madden that throws everybody off, and it is the main meta that you guys will face out there in the wild. And that is when players activate a package that is known as safeties. And this will be something that you could do in nickel sets or pretty much anything in the game, to be honest with you. And the inverted cover three is a shell where they will change their safeties from halves into outside thirds. This is a easy thing to tell, once again, if you are in a spread out set. Again, you can do this out of compression if you want, but the more spread out your receivers are, the safeties that are playing the deep responsibilities have to be able to hedge the difference between all kinds of vertical breaking routes. So getting width to your offensive formation tells the safety shell far easier. So when I snap this ball, watch how these safeties backpedal or almost run down and outside. That's going to tell you that they're in the outside thirds, which is going to make this far easier for you to discern. This is a modified cover three shell. So why all this talk about how safeties rotate? The truth is, if you know what the safeties and what the deep zones are on the field, you can understand the ways to crack the code. A lot of YouTube channels, myself included, will tell you, hey, this is a one play touchdown against a cover three. Heck, I just showed you a couple yesterday. If you guys can read the drops of the safeties and you see them fanning out super wide, or you see one closing center field and the other rotating down, that's going to tell you, even without previous play, if you play all Madden or you play in a competitive realm, okay, that's a cover three shell. Let me go to my cover three beater. It also really doesn't matter what the underneath crazy adjustments are going to be, because if you have a guy that can beat an individually manned up corner, you still call your cover three beating shell, because if you know that their shell is a cover three, it doesn't matter even if they've manned up somebody underneath. You're just going to make sure that you have a player that can beat man to man on the route that also cracks the shell up top. Let me give you a really good example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call a baseline cover three here out of the dollar. We're going to go into a setup that I broke down just this past week, honestly. And we are going to set up a one play touchdown formula. And with this formula, we basically ran this route combo. This deep skinny post that we've talked about time and time again gets over the top of a cover three shell, because the corner to the tight end pulls down the outside third, allowing us to throw this ball right here, rat catching it and walking into the end zone. So let's show you an over modified cover three shell. I've just used this safeties package. I'm going to go ahead and kind of mix in, some wild adjustments. I've really over adjusted my defense, but still you're going to see the safety kind of close center field. That's going to tell you, oh, cover three. Even if you have somebody manned up individually on the route that we're using to crack that shell, you still know the shell at the end of the day is in fact a cover three deep. So at that point, you just need to beat the player that's in man to man on it. So we snap this ball, the corner is still going to pull down the outside third, and lo and behold, Yahtzee. So it didn't matter that your opponent did all kinds of crazy adjustments, manned up players individually. You still know that the deep shell is in fact a cover three. You're going to be able to pop the lid on this pretty easily. It's not that complicated. And the same thing can be said of really any modified defense. Let's just go into something really simple here. We'll in fact use the cover four. Let me just show you a cover four beater. So I'm going to run this play right here that is known as deep post out. And we're going to run this against a cover four defense. Now with this particular setup, what we're going to do here is we're going to individually man up, once again, a post player. So we actually see them man him up. Maybe in the game, we noticed that they had a cover four drop tell. The safety's kind of just squeezed inside, like I showed at the beginning. We know that at the end of the day, the shell is a cover four. I can beat a cover four. So we snap this ball. We've got ourselves that dig route that holds that safety down. And then we're going to let this sucker rip all the way over the top. Now, we actually didn't even really beat the man coverage that well, to be honest with you, but we still beat the safeties that were on the play. And that's my point. If you can beat the player that mans up the route that is cracking the shell, it doesn't matter. You could still call the play. Now, if I were smart, what I would do is I would make sure that I had a route ability on that player, maybe a route tech, maybe a deep out elite or a mid out elite that would allow me to get a separation boost on the cut. of that route against the manned up player. These are the things that start to build the levels to your scheme. All you really have to do is understand the safety rotation, understand the deep assignments on the field, and then from there, you know what formula you can use. If they're manning up your one play touchdown, make sure that player is a player that has a man coverage beating ability, and your route is still going to work. It's going to beat the man and it's going to crack the can. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. I know a lot of players struggle with post snap reads. I wanted to give you kind of a tell on safety rotations. This is super, super helpful. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to do a video that's going to show you guys how to read safety rotations while using run plays, believe it or not. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, hit that notification bell. That video is going to drop tomorrow morning. I'll see you guys then. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.